Patience. It's hard. Trust me, if anybody gets it, it's me. When it comes to getting rid of acne, often patience is required, but there are a few other things too. Now, if your acne medication isn't working, it can feel so frustrating. It's like, I'm breaking out, I don't feel good about my skin, I'm using all these new things, and I just want them to do something already. And they're not. Caveat, this is also why a lot of people end up going for really harsh apricot scrubs or products that make their face feel like they're burning, because if it feels like it's doing something, at least we're getting some sort of feedback, right? Whereas when we just put products on our face and they seem to do nothing, it's like, what the f is going on? Well, there are 3 main reasons that your acne medication might not be working, and I want to break those down so that you have a better understanding of your skin, so that it becomes less of a mystery. And if you notice that you're not really paying attention to one or multiple of these things, it might be the key to getting the results that you're actually looking for. And the first is something that I have to say I love and do myself, but might be a reason that your acne medication isn't working overall. And we gotta talk about spot treatments and pimple patches. Now, I love spot treatments and pimple patches. I love both of these. I think they're amazing. But this might be a reason that your acne treatment isn't fully working. Because when you think about it, if you're using a spot treatment, you're using it on a spot, like this one that I have here on my shoulder. And if I am just putting this acne medication only on this one spot, yes, it's going to help treat that blemish or that pimple. But what about the rest of my face? You see, pimples don't just pop up. They kind of happen over time. They start deep inside the skin and they make their way out to the surface. So if you're noticing that you are prone to pimples, it's not just a one-off thing, you get them all the time. Instead of using a spot treatment just on one area of your face, consider using a treatment that goes all over. That's going to help more with prevention. Now, some spot treatments can be used all over the face. This is one of my favorites. This is adapalene gel from Acne Free. This is basically a cruelty-free vegan version of Differin, and this you can use as a spot treatment, but take a small amount of this and just apply it all over. And if you notice that you get a lot of breakouts, that might be the answer. This is a really intense spot treatment. This is a benzoyl peroxide one. If your skin can handle it all over, then maybe, although I do like this better for spots. And then things like pimple patches. I like to consider these emergency skincare stickers, because while you can put them on a blemish or something that pops up, these aren't necessarily going to stop new pimples from forming elsewhere on the face. So if you get a pimple every now and then, spot treatments and pimple patches are great. But if you're someone who struggles with a whole bunch of acne and skin concerns all over, you're going to want something that goes all over to not only treat, but also prevent. The second thing that is extraordinarily difficult for some people to wrap their minds around is the fact that their pimples might not actually be acne. That's right, a pimple might not be acne. And this happened to me recently. I actually live with a whole bunch of different people. You've probably heard Sasquatch upstairs more than once. Sasquatch upstairs. Are they gonna shut up anytime soon? Now someone's gonna take a shit upstairs and run the water. I live with a Sasquatch, you don't understand. Well, one of the people that I live with came up to me and was like, oh my God, you have all this acne on your arms. I was like, what are you talking about? No, I don't. And she pointed and she's like, look at all those pimples. Baby, these are bug bites. I got some gnarly bug bites and then I picked them. And yes, these are technically considered pimples, but these are not acne. If I were to use an acne treatment on this, it wouldn't matter. Similarly, there are skin conditions that can look like acne, but that are not acne. And if you're going out purchasing an acne product, applying it to your face, but the pimples that you have aren't acne related, no wonder why the product that you're using isn't going to work. Some things that are commonly mistaken as acne are things like rosacea. Rosacea is a skin condition that's more vascular, and it can have little pimples and pustules that look like acne, although it's very different. And for treating acne, benzoyl peroxide or salicylic acid might be great, but for rosacea, those don't always work so well. For rosacea, you want azelaic acid and a retinoid. There are also staph infections, and staph infections can look like acne, and they can look like cystic acne, but this is not acne, honey. This is a very intense staph infection that needs medical care ASAP, and no amount of acne products is going to help a staph infection, especially if it's something that needs antibiotics. Bug bites, as I showed you, I actually don't know what kind of bug this is. I hope it's not a spider bite, because if so, that means that I was in contact with a spider, which absolutely terrifies me. But yeah, I have these gnarly bites all over my arms. I don't think they're mosquitoes either. I don't know what got to me, but something did. And if I use acne creams on this, it ain't gonna do So for this, I'm basically using anti-itch cream, as well as hyaluronic acid, vitamin C, and yes, ceramides to help rebuild my skin barrier and speed up the wound healing process, because I don't want these bug bites to hyperpigment. Ugh, they're so itchy. Also, shaving bumps or folliculitis. If you ever look under your armpits or under your legs or your bikini area and you're like, why do I always get pimples after I shave? Those might actually be irritation from ingrown hairs or what's called folliculitis, inflammation of the hair follicle. This is very different than acne bacteria. And this is also why it's so important to get a diagnosis from a doctor or a dermatologist. You can go into clinic, or you can even get like an online pharmacy. Again, I love Dermatica, I love Apostrophe. There are a whole bunch of different like online subscriptions where you can send photos or have a video chat with an actual doctor or medical provider, and they can tell you, okay, this is what I believe your diagnosis is, and here's a custom blended prescription to you. But it's so important because if you have a staph infection and you think that it's just cystic acne, you could be treating the cystic acne all you want, but this staph infection just keeps spreading. So making sure that your pimples are actually pimples is super important. And now you know that, and my roommate does too. Another reason that your acne products might not be working is patience, and this is the hardest. Actually picking as well, and mixing your skincare products improperly. Let's talk about all of this. Well, patience is a virtue. At least that's what my mama always told me, and I still don't know what that means. Like, is that a Bible proverb? I don't know. Either way, I know that patience is something I need to learn, and I try to be patient, and sometimes I am, and other times I'm just not. And especially as someone who looks at my skin all day, and I look at the skin of others literally all day, and I pick at my skin a little bit, sometimes it's really hard for me to track time. For example, if I tried this new product, did I try this a week ago? Has it been an entire month, or has it been a year? Like this, I thought that I had this on my skincare shelf for like 9 to 12 months. I actually bought this like 2 years ago. Back in like 2020. And it's just crazy to me how time flies. And the only reason I know that is because I have photos or videos of me trying and testing this and knowing when I actually introduced these onto my skin. And that's why taking photos is so important, to actually see the progress in your skin, but to know how long it's been since you've started a treatment. And here's the sad, terrible truth about acne treatments: they can take time to work. Remember that acne doesn't just happen on the skin, it happens deep within the skin. And how long does it take for our skin to renew itself, to create new skin cells from the bottom up? I mean, at a minimum, that can take a month, and a lot of times it can take 3 to even 6 months, especially if you have a lot of acne or a lot of scarring or texture to go through. So when it comes to acne medication, you need to give this a minimum of 1 month, if not 3, 6, or more, to really see definitive results. And if you're impatient like me, or if you're not tracking your progress, that can be really hard. Remember that skincare is not a sprint, it is a marathon, and we're in this for the long haul, meaning staying consistent with our routines and understanding what's actually happening to and within our skin. But at the same time, patience can be difficult, especially when there's new products or new things we want to try, etc. But remember, if you want to try new things just for fun, and you are okay with doing first impressions and, swatching things on your skin, you're patch testing responsibly, then go for it. But if you are someone who is trying to treat something specific, be it acne or wrinkles or rosacea or pigmentation, you need to give those active ingredients time. Turn and learn to make sure that you have the right ones. Those active ingredients will literally correlate with the diagnosis that your doctor or derm gave you, or the skin condition that you think you have, and then you need to give them time to work. Now, there are other issues. For example, if you mix something like benzoyl peroxide along with an antioxidant like a vitamin C product, these could actually cancel each other out. There are skincare ingredients that you don't necessarily want to mix. Similarly, niacinamide and vitamin C can play dirty together. There are formulas that combine them well, but other times they can be tough. And even peptides, when mixed with the wrong things, can become less effective. We've actually done a ton of videos on what you should and shouldn't mix together. I'll link those to you. Or again, on YouTube, you can literally search Cassandra Bankson mixing skincare, or Cassandra Bankson peptides, or Cassandra Bankson spot treatments. And we've probably done a video. For example, we've done a video on the best and worst spot treatments for acne, as well as a video on what to and not to mix within your skincare routine. But it can be really tricky. And a lot of people don't realize that when they're mixing multiple products together, those products might be canceling each other out, therefore making their skincare completely ineffective. And if that's happening, then no wonder we're not seeing results. Also, another thing I'm very guilty of is pimple picking, especially when I am stressed. And I even do it to my ear where I have eczema and I have pimples behind my ear that I am always scratching at. When you're picking your pimples, you're causing irritation and inflammation. You're introducing dirt and bacteria into the skin, especially if you're picking subconsciously while you're studying or working and you don't realize that your grubby hands are all over your skin, or your spider bites. Happens to me all the time. And that could be introducing inflammation and damage to the skin and dirt and bacteria that's making it harder for your skin to actually heal up. You know, if we're causing a bunch of irritation, it can make the issue worse. Now, how do we stop that? Well, a lot of people just point at you and say stop, and that doesn't work. So I've actually done a video with a psychodermatologist, a psychologist dermatologist essentially, who explained the psychological and mental reason for skin picking and why it can actually be like a form of anxiety relief for some people. She also shared some tips about when skin picking is appropriate versus when it's harmful, and if you do want to stop, how to do that. We also have a blog post if you want to look at it in like a written format. Either way, the unfortunate moral of this video is that there are many reasons that your acne products or routine might not be working for you. But if you recognize any of these, or if you think, oh my god, you know, are these things on my arm or my legs maybe not actually acne? Hopefully this is information that you needed to actually incorporate into your thought process or into your routine to make changes that do work for you, or to remember to not make changes and just be patient and wait that 1, 3, or 6 months to actually see how it all plays out. I do have a gigantic pimple like right here. Do you see this? It is so freaking painful, and it is taking everything out of me to not pick it off my skin and cause like major scarring. Oh my god, it is so difficult. I need to go back and watch my own video that I did with the psychodermatologist from the UK. Anyways, do remember to stay hydrated, both orally and topically. Make sure that you reapply your SPF. We actually have a video on the best SPFs for acne-prone skin if you think that your sunscreen is breaking you out. I've also listed some of my favorite acne products right down here. And always remember to be beautiful inside and out, because whether or not you have acne has no impact on the amazing things that you can do for this world. I love you, and I cannot wait to see you in this next video. Love you guys. Bye. Bye. Why do I wave like my hand is one of those inflatable little dinosaur Godzilla things that hangs out by used car lots? You know what I'm talking about? Since when did my arm become one of those? Anyways.